everyone. Today, my group and I will presenting regarding to our topic, which are professional development in Malaysia, professional development issues among teachers, and Islamic and other perspective on professional development. Alright, I am the first presenter. My name is Sazliana binti Sanusi. So today, my part professional development in Malaysia, which are consists of two: professional development of teacher and how Malaysia teacher view professional development. Alright, first thing first, we look on the definitions of professional development in general. According to Graham 1982, professional development is the process by which individuals, groups, and organizations learn to be more effective and efficient. Mukundam 2011 have said that professional development is developing people in their professional roles. Lastly, Antley 2020 have said that professional development refers to continued education and career training after a person has entered the workforce in order to help them develop new skills, stay up to date on current trends, and advance their career. In other words, professional development is more to enhance our skill, attitude, knowledge, and performance in any career that we are enter. Alright class, I have a question. Is it teaching is a profession? What do you think? According to Remarks 2003, it is precisely this growing international acceptance of teaching as a profession that had led to shift in the designation from teacher training to teacher professional development. So, here it is proven that teaching is a profession. So, now we look at on professional development of teacher in terms of definitions. Okay, for the first one, according to the Call 2005, professional development of teacher is any activities in which a teacher participates with the goal of improving teacher practice and or student achievement under the guidance and or approval of the school and or school system in which he or she is employed. Kabilan 2012 have stated that professional development is not only an ongoing process that contributes toward personal growth of teacher, but also an integral element in improving the quality of school. According to Gratton 1995, the professional growth of a teacher achieved as a result of gaining increased experience and examining his or her teaching systematically. And the last one, Gary 99 has stated that needs of teacher may vary as the teacher demographic profile change. It is believed that novice teacher need various kind of professional development in comparison to other teacher. So, we as a novice teacher must have various kind of professional development in teaching and learning process. For example, in terms of teaching method or teaching style, we must have a several kind of teaching and method style in order to attract students or learner who are auditory learner, kinesthetic learner, or visual learner. There are two ways to gain or enhance our professional development. First one is formal experience, such as attending workshop or professional meeting or mentoring and so on. For example, the professional development program and training at Garden City University. The speaker is Guru Raj, and the speaker had a lot of experience since he have 40 years of teaching, and this program had been exposed in YouTube. If you have a free time, and you can take a look to gain a knowledge and input. For the second one, informal experience such as reading professional publication, watching television documentaries related to any academic discipline and others. Okay, according to Holly to 1982, there are two concepts of professional development of teacher. First one, a process in which a teacher continues to develop the knowledge and skill required for effective professional practice as circumstances change and as a new responsibility are accepted. Second one, knowledge acquisitions and skill development which should to be greater degree than in the past be more directly related to substantive problem faced by teacher. Professional development for teachers in Malaysia was recognized as early as 1995 by special committee set up by Educational Ministry to look into teachers' professionalism and professional development. Teacher professional development was recognized as means to enhance the teaching professions. So here some of recommendation put forward by community. First one, teachers should be encouraged to attend in-service courses. Second, teachers should be encouraged to further their education. Third, opportunity should be given to a teacher for study visit overseas to study current development in education. Fourth, induction programs be given to teacher appointed to new posts and with new responsibility. Fifth, management courses be provided to those teachers who have been promoted to head teacher. Next, staff room should be subject-based. And the last one, teacher center should facilitate the professional development of teacher. They should be built in strategic location, equipped with modern technology, fully funded and adequate staffed. However, there is an issue in professional development where changes in education system may necessitate the professional development of teachers who are supposed to enforce those changes in the classroom. For example, a situation was experienced in Malaysia when it became mandatory to teach math and science in school in English. This is a particular case when teachers have received no training for teaching in English language. Under such circumstances, professionals should be equipped teachers to meet the challenge facing them. Now we look at on how Malaysia teachers view professional development. Teachers' view of professional development is often regarded as effective and is reflected in the school and its teacher work by promoting meaningful collaboration and critical reflection. Okay, the second one, teachers' participation in professional development activities will play a positive role in their learner achievement in the long run. This had been proven in the research by Donovan 1987, in which investigate the effect of professional development on student achievement. The finding shown in the first phase of study, no significant increase in the achievement of students whose teacher took part in the professional development program. However, by the final phase of study, it was found that has a significant increase of student achievement. Alright, now we look on this article with title How Malaysian School Teachers View Professional Development. The present study was conducted on a group of Malaysian math and science teachers to investigate their needs in the professional development activities. The professional development activities in this article refer to activities in which Malaysia's math and science teachers participate to improve their English language skills. Alright, this is a finding that I take from the previous article where table 1 shows professional development needs and it shows that 84.7% of teacher under investigation express need of professional development. For the second table, professional perception of professional development effectiveness, and it shows that 60.7% of teacher under investigations state that moderate. According to her 1979, a professional development approach based on the social learning theory to be more effective than traditional method in over 80% of the training situation that has examined. So class, did you know what is social learning theory? Social learning theory is you learn by watching people. For example, you can learn from parents, teacher, siblings, co-worker, and so on. So according to Mukandam 2011, social learning theory by encouraging an interaction between the teachers and their critical friends. The teachers observe other teaching in order to provide and be provided with ideas to enhance their knowledge or their own way of teaching. Alright, I give example that nearest to us. For example, during our micro teaching, so we observe our friends teaching in front, so we can give feedback to her or him, and so we learn um, from the from the feedback that we give to them. Alright, this is second article, and this article was supported the previous article where most of the teacher expressed the need of professional development. Alright, the Malaysian teacher prefer mainly professional development programs and or activity that emphasize their pupils' need as well as their own professional need and interest. It is thus suggested that Ministry of Education assist the school and teacher to take more responsible to plan, develop, implement and assess their own professional development programs or activity. As a conclusion, professional development program is to empower future teachers to take the initiative in identifying and acting on their individual needs, because teachers who are confident and are able to view themselves as knowledgeable professional or have the ability to recognize the opportunities to grow professionally may contribute to more the school as their commitment to the organization and to the professional increase. I can conclude that professional development is very important, especially for teachers, because teachers are important workforce for achieving the Malaysian education aim in enhancing the educational quality and developing the human capital of nation. We are facing with pandemic COVID-19, so students could not attend to the school. The teaching and learning process had been changed, where students should learn through online distance learning. Here, teachers should play an important role in order to make the teaching and learning process in interactive way. So, teachers should have knowledge about the usement of technologies and so on. So, I think teachers should learn or join professional development program in order to improve or enhance their skill in usement of technology. I think that's all from me, and we continue with the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I'm Suryahana. Will proceed to the second part of our presentation, and I will present to all of you about the professional development issues among teachers. Okay friends, let's see what I want to discuss to all of you. For my part, we will discuss about what are the factors that influence the teacher professional development, and next we will discuss about some issues and the challenges of teacher professional development in Malaysia. Alright, we proceed to the factors that influence the teacher professional development. As stated by Rosita 2016, she was found out there are two factors that influence in the teacher professional development. First factor is the personal factors and the second factor is the environmental factor. For the teacher's personal factors, such as both motivation and occupational commitment, have played the important roles in providing the supports, especially for the self-adjustment of the teacher to face the high workload situation. And the second factor, which is school, is the environmental factor, which have been perceived by the teacher as a great influence for committing the opportunity and the facility for develop the profession program. Okay. Also, based on the Quackman 2013, he also stated that there are also some factors that influence the professional development for teacher, which is he mentioned that the participation of the teacher itself towards professional development also is the factors that influence the teacher professional development. Those factors that stated by Quackman include the personal, also task or duty, and also environment also. So we can see here we can see that the personal factor is a dominant one compared to the other factor. As we mentioned that the personal factor is a dominant one that influence the teacher professional development, so the personality factor is categorized as an internal factor which permits the authority for determine the personal behavior. The support from the external factor will establish the psychological mechanism to develop the professional development. Okay, as mentioned by Lewin 1985, the human behavior is a function of the personal and the environment factor which explain the teacher's performance in the professional development. In this case, teachers' performance to fulfill the demands of environment changes is the result of interaction between the teacher's resources and also the environment changes. For the environmental factor, there is a model that was introduced by Zerowin 2019, which is a model of teacher agency in school and the professional development. This model highlights about the outcomes of the professional development and school are specified as the individuals, groups, and also the organizational results. Okay, we can see that here the outcomes are the result from the interaction between the individual practice and the perceived work context as shown in the figure 1 by the arrow that run from the agency towards the outcome. Okay, figure 1 here also shows that there is two relations by two diagonal arrows from the outcome towards the individual practice and also towards the perceived work context. Okay. Firstly, the professional development and school reform have an impact on the individual practice. Besides, these concepts and strategies will affect the work context and how the teacher position her or himself in the work situation. This depends on how the teacher adapts the work context while making sense of the professional development. Okay, as essential parts of these models that introduced by Jerowin, the model is the impact of the interaction between the individual teacher and the work environment on the content of professional development and the school reform. We continue about the issues and the challenges of the teacher professional development in Malaysia. As stated by Hazri 2019, our educational system around the world have been experienced change and reforms. This has also occurred in the field of teacher professional development, which has been changing so rapidly and frequently all around the world. It has been acknowledged that the teachers are not only one of the variables that need to be changed in order to improve our educational system, but teachers are most significant agent in this reform. This role of teachers as the subjects and also teacher as the object of change has made the field of the teacher professional development as a challenging area in this era. So, the teacher in today's will in the state of under a growing pressure to perform the professional development. This is due to the higher expectation and the greater needs which will pressure the teacher to perform the effectively in teaching profession. Nowadays also the professional teacher development has become increasing challenging task for the Malaysia younger generation, which has a higher set of value and greater expectation from life. With the higher expectation of the society, the teacher are not only expected as to deliver the knowledge, but teacher also need to shoulder the responsibility for shaping a better people outside there. Based on this scenario, the Malaysian Ministry of Education was constantly encouraged the teacher to pursue the courses in critical and relevant areas by offering the promotions of professional development. These are some measures taken by the government to overcome the issues in professional development that was stated in Hazri 2009. First, an allowance is given to the teachers who are teaching in critical subjects like English, science, mathematics, and also technical subjects as a special hardship allowance. Okay. Second, the teacher activity centers and resource centers in various districts also was provided by the government for give the chance of the teacher for share the resources, share the ideas and also experience to produce their own teaching materials. Next, the teacher educators and the teacher who have the excellent performance are rewarded through a graded system of remuneration include the bonuses. Next, Ministry of Education organized a professional development course for math science teachers known as English for the teaching mathematics and science to develop the linguistic skills. And lastly, to enhance the professional development training, there is a necessity to have the personnel with the effective leadership ability. So, the Ministry of Education have collaborated with the other ministry and other agency to serve the ICT leader and empower the educational leader at all levels to adapt ICT in teacher preparation for all teachers. There is another issue that stated by Kuah 2014 that he mentioned the teaching profession in Malaysia today is still lack of certain professional characteristics in order to be classified as profession. Okay, he stated that teaching job is not restricted to those trained teachers only. Not every teacher is a member of any teacher association. Neither one of the teacher organization is vested with the power to control the number of new members, nor have the right to expel the members if they do not observe the codes of ethics. A teacher has only limited autonomy because a lot of decisions are usually made by the school authority, and also the teacher possesses different academic qualifications and were placed under different salary schemes. For example, SPM, STP, university degree. So here, teachers do not have the autonomy to decide the payment for the service. Okay, let's see what are the codes of ethics on Malaysian teaching profession as stated by KUA 2014. Codes of ethics on Malaysian teaching profession are divided into four, which is first, responsibility towards students, responsibility towards parents, responsibility towards society and nation, and lastly, responsibility towards colleagues and teaching profession. Okay, first, we look at to the responsibility towards students. Responsibility towards students are to emphasize on students' welfare and safety more than the other methods. Next, fair in dealing with every student without considering any factors such as physical, mental, emotional, political, economic, and social aspects. Next, treat the personal information of students as the confidentials and only reveals to those who have the right to acquire. Next, responsibility towards parents. Okay, we need to respect the sole responsibility of parents towards their children and also establish the good relationship and cooperate between schools and students' parents. Okay, next, avoid using inappropriate remarks of the behavior which can affect the pupil's confidence on their parents. And treat all the information supplied by the parents as confidential also, and inform parents about the matter that concerning on the student's welfare. And the third, responsibility towards society and nation. Okay, we need to avoid teaching which can bring harms to pupils, society or nation, or which contradict to the pupils' national principles. And also, we need to respect the school and fulfill all the responsibilities as a good citizen. Okay, for the last part of Code of Ethics on Malaysian teaching profession, which is responsibility towards colleagues and teaching profession. Okay, we need to avoid making any remark or comments in front of students, parents, or commit any act that will affect the good reputation or self-respect of any colleague. And also, we need to work dedicatedly to fulfill the responsibility of a teacher, strive hard to be a good image of a teacher, and not involved in any activity that will affect the professional performance of teacher as a whole. Okay, my friends, there were also some challenges ahead that stated by Hazri 2009. Why did she say that it was a challenge ahead? This is due to the 21st century that brought a greater demand for the nation to produce quality teachers. So, the road ahead is not going to be easy to produce the next generations of the teacher. So, the government has taken a great measures to achieve the education, to narrow the digital divide, integrate the ICT in the teaching and learning process, and have some strategy to develop the teacher programs and also to fulfill the aspirations of our education system. So, we look at to the first challenges, which is towards achieving the target of qualified graduate teacher and its challenges. The first obstacle is distance. The distance of the institution of higher learning where the program is conducted and for the service teachers to attend the classes can be in another district. Thus, it takes days and many hours for them to reach the destination of the learning process. Uh, the another major obstacle is that the allocation of time for the professional development is limited. Based on Bajuri et al. 2010, he claims that the most significant barrier to participate in the professional development are related to the conflict with the work schedule. So, the teachers are often burdened with the endless duties and chores besides the main task of the teaching. Also said by Ming et al. 2010. Uh, he said that the teachers highlight the lack of time as a barrier to their using the tools actively, which is obviously affected their teacher professional development. The third obstacle in order to achieve the target is the amount of payment that they have to pay depends on the course and the institution that they would have to be enrolled. But that is not the only consideration that they need to look into. Other than the fee, there are a lot of other expenses to be made. For example, for the textbooks, for the transportations, and also for the accommodations are among others that they have to spend for the next 3 or 4 years of their studies. They might need to take up a financial or saving for the purpose of the education. Okay, for the fourth obstacle, there is a small percentage of the teachers who have been teaching for a few years and had decided to take up the program earlier while they are still young and having not much family commitments. But for the majority of the others, they have already started a family and having their children and young babies with them by following the program had taken up a lot of their time in school and also in the institution. The family responsibilities were reported as a barrier by 23.8% of the teachers on average. Due to that response, they need to sacrifice their weekends with their family most of the time on going away to the school. Proceed to the second challenge ahead, which is to improve the quality of preschool teachers and the teacher assistants in order to develop the professionalism among teachers. To improve the teaching skill and the training, approximately to 30,000 existing preschool teachers and the new staff over the next 3 years are needed in order to achieve the aspiration of National Key Result Areas, which is NKRA, which is a great challenge ahead. The developing a suitable framework for the preschool and to detail to the new outcome-based target lays ahead. This challenge is due to encourage the preschool students to register under the mainstream schools and to get a full response is also an ensure task to look forward. To have the effective integration of ICT also was stated in our challenge ahead that we will face. The teachers need a longer hours of training to be able to acquire a high level of competency of ICT in teaching. This is because ICT is a part of the curriculum in teacher training college. The teacher have not achieved the sufficient confidence when it comes to integrating it in the teaching. That's stated by Mahani 2006 and Tang et al. 2010. For the further efforts that have to be taken to ensure that the teacher education students have the necessary levels of confidence and also the competence to integrate the ICT in their classroom. It is a real challenge for the Ministry of Education to continuously the review for the teacher education curriculum and the delivery strategies as an ongoing process to ensure that the potential of the ICT can be improved the teaching and learning process.
Hello, hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Kodaria Husna binti Khairul Amri Pardede as a third presenter. Continuing the professional development issues from our previous presenter, Nur Suryahana, I would like to bring three more topics related, which are online teacher professional development and teacher changes, and professional development and student achievements. Let's take a look. Malaysia online learning is increasingly being implemented of providing professional development and facilitating teacher change. Also, there are two benefits that teachers perceive to be most important in participating in online teacher professional development. As stated by Boyling and Martin in 2005, which include time and setting flexibility. These benefits will be encourage others to participate more in online teacher professional development, as well create their belief and self-efficacy in using ICT for professional development. Teacher appreciated that they did not need to travel, write substitute lesson plan, or change their schedule, and that they were able to work in their classroom or at home and at their own pace. Perhaps teachers enjoy the freedom of learning online. Finding from article online in Service Teacher Professional Development in Malaysia by Tina et al. Have found three factors that in-service teachers felt would cause them to consider participating in online teacher professional development activities, which are obtaining peer support, get expert feedback or advice, and the last one, maintaining instructional time. It is quite surprising that these teachers consider time and space constraints as the least factor that caused them to consider participating in online professional development activities. This finding supports that professional development is motivating factor for lifelong learning among teachers. This is the finding from article online in Service Teacher Professional Development in Malaysia by Tina et al. This is the result for belief whether online inset activities were enhanced in service teachers' professional development. Inset means in-service teacher professional project. Tina Lim, 2004, observed that the overall it could be seen that the primary and secondary teachers seem to be more positive than negative about the viability of online activities in contributing towards their professional development. We can look there, the response of yes have high frequency, then the maybe and no. Now we look in professional development and teacher changes. High quality professional development is a central component in every modern proposal for improving education. Policymakers increasingly recognize that schools can be no better than teachers and administrators who work within them. In most cases, that ends is the improvement of student learning. Gasky in 2002 stated that professional development programs are systematic effort to bring about change in classroom practice of teachers, in their attitude and belief, and in the learning outcome of students. From the article Professional Development and Teacher Changes by Gasky in 2002 that I have mentioned before, this article presents a perspective on the nature of these three areas of change and the conditions under which they take place. It examines the order of occurrence of change event and how specific types of change might be facilitated and sustained. The three areas of change are change in teachers' classroom practice, change in student learning outcome, and the last one, change in teachers' belief and attitude. Now we look into first area, which is change in teachers' classroom practices. It is recognized that change is a gradual and difficult process for teachers. To change or try something new means to risk failure. Not only would this be highly embarrassing, but it also runs counter to most teachers' strong commitment to student learning. By Crandall 1983, he stated that teachers become committed to the new practices only after they had actively engaged in using them in their classroom. Learning to be proficient at something new and finding meaning a new way of doing things requires both time and effort. Any change that holds great promise for increasing teachers' competence and enhancing students' learning is likely to require extra work, especially at the first time. The requirement of extra energy and time can significantly add to teachers' workload, even when release time is provided. Furthermore, change brings a certain amount of anxiety and can be very threatening. Like practitioners in many other fields, Lotte said teachers are reluctant to adopt new practice or procedures unless they feel sure that they can make them work. Alright, next area is change in students' learning outcome. This area is to ensure that teachers receive regular feedback on student learning progress. If the use of new practice is to be sustained and change are to endure, the individuals involved need to receive regular feedback on the effect of their effort. It is well known that successful actions are reinforcing and likely to be repeated, while those that are unsuccessful tend to be diminished. Similarly, practices that are new and unfamiliar will be accepted and retained when they are perceived as increasing one's competence and effectiveness. In programs involving the implementation of mastery learning, for example, teachers receive this type of feedback through the regular administration of formative assessment. These assessments are used in mastery learning primarily to give students detailed information on their learning progress. This will pair with corrective activities designed to help the students to remedy their learning errors. Tolling in 1980 found that providing teachers with regular feedback on student involvement during class sessions could be very powerful in facilitating their use of new instructional practice. Okay, now we are in last area, change in teachers' belief and attitude. It provides continued follow-up, support, and pressure. If teachers change in their belief and attitude before implementation of the new teaching practice, it could be the quality of teaching practice would be crucial. If the teaching practices to be implemented well, it must become a natural part of teachers of teaching skills, especially for program continuation and expansion. Teachers must come to use the new practice almost out of habit. If these two occur, continued follow-up and support are essential. It is clear that to be successful, professional development must be seen as a process, not an event. Learning to be proficient at something new or finding meaning in a new way of doing things is difficult and sometimes painful. Furthermore, Huberman and Miles in 1984 have stated that any change that holds great promise for increasing individuals' competence or enhancing an organization's effectiveness is likely to be slow and require extra work. Here is a model of teacher change. This model suggests a different sequence among the three major outcomes of professional development. According to the model, significant change in teachers' attitude and belief occurs primarily after they gain evidence of improvement in student learning. This improvement typically results from changes teachers have made in their classroom practice, a new instructional approach, the use of new material or curricula, or simply a modification in teaching procedure or classroom format. This is the flow chart on how professional development affects student achievement. From the research that made by Cohen and Hill in 2000, this professional development affects student achievement through the three steps. First, the professional developments enhance teacher knowledge and skill. Then, after teachers have the good knowledge and skills, this will improve the classroom teaching practice. The third, the improved teaching practice will raise student achievement. If one link is weak or missing, better student learning outcome cannot be expected. If a teacher fails to apply the new ideas or new teaching practice from professional development to the classroom instruction, for example, students will be not benefit from the teacher's professional development. Alright, now we look on ways to make teacher professional development effective and engaging by Maria in 2019. The first one, make it specific. Every teacher faces unique classroom challenges and comes to work each morning with a different set of skills. If you want professional development to be relevant, ask your teachers for their suggestion. There is a good chance that they have plenty to say. Give teachers a choice about what or how they learn. Give different options for workshops or courses that they can take. If you can offer different options, keep the topic simple. Go for depth instead of breadth. And make sure that teachers come away from the session with all the information that they need to start using in the classroom. Second, get teachers invested. Most teachers will tell you that they don't enjoy being treated like students. They are educated professionals who are there to develop an existing unique and powerful skill set. If you are running a session about active learning in the classroom, use active learning technique. If it is about service learning, have teachers research opportunities or organization where their class can get involved. Teachers need to be interested and engaged, just like their students. Teachers learn in different ways and respond differently to auditory, kinesthetic, written, or visual learning method. The third way is make it ongoing. Your professional development session was specific and engaging. Your teachers left feeling informed, and now it's time for them to put it into practice in the classroom. Uncertainty, unanswered question, and a lack of confidence often stop teachers from trying new techniques in their classroom. The best thing you can do as an administrator is to make sure you support teachers as they try to improve their learning. And make sure that teachers know that they can approach you with any question or concern. Use student and teacher achievement data to make decisions about what to focus on next and how to drive the student learning better. The fourth way is embed it into teaching process. It is a time for struggle to fit teacher professional development opportunities around actually teaching. Make sure your teachers are already effective and actionable that helps to improve toward professionalism. This can happen in few different ways. For example, teachers can create their lesson content by deepen subject knowledge, and teachers can start peer coaching activities. With that activities, they will have a chance to see how their peers handle classroom issues and approach their lessons. They will also have the opportunity to collaborate and suggest area of improvement. Make sure you are giving your teachers effective and actionable feedback that help them to improve. If teachers don't know where they can do better, they are not going to ever have the opportunity to act. And lastly is personalized teacher learning with a professional development plan. This professional development plan sets out individual learning goals for educators on a short-term or long-term basis, and this will give clear steps for achieving them. Challenge them to keep learning and stretching their professional capacities and encourage them to continue developing their career. Teachers can use the SMART goal system to achievable goals. Make them S for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for relevant, and the last one T for timely. SMART goal system. You also can track them on a monthly and yearly basis to see how teachers are progressing and improving in their teaching practices. This is the list of the reference that I have used and read for doing my part. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Mariamiti Ahmad. Okay, today I would like to continue my part which is Challenge Implementing Professional Learning Community, PLC. What are the challenges in the PLC? The first one is teacher's passive roles. Teacher's passive role is where the teacher become passive in their classroom. Okay, the next point is student attitude. The big challenge in PLC is the student attitude itself. When the student don't give full and have good attitude in the classroom, so the PLC cannot be continue. The next one is overwhelming workload. This is what happened to the teachers nowadays. And the next is lack of administrative support. Administrative support is when the school and management cannot be good towards each other, which is the admin do their part and teachers is only do their part. And the last one is lack of supervision from the authority. In other words, the authority in context in Malaysia is our KPM that do some lack of supervision and give 100% to the management at school itself and only do the berkala supervision, not always do supervise. Okay, next, proceed with the next part. Now let's go to Islamic and other perspective on professional development. Islamic education is often erroneously perceived as education on religious matters, whereas in fact, Islamic education based on the Quran and Sunnah provide a rich reservoir of knowledge in the modern science such as medicine, genetics, and biology. Naqli revealed knowledge is not all about recitation scriptures from Al-Quran. Rather, it emphasizes a physical and spiritual balance between everything. To understand the intellectual aspect of Islamic-based education, we should comprehend the essential difference between two modes of knowledge that are recognized in the Islamic world. Much of the Islamic worldview is based on universal truth, as indeed knowledge is universal and neutral. Likewise, we cannot have Hindu physics or Christian sociology. According to traditional Islam, there are two types of knowledge, namely Naqli, revealed knowledge, and Aqli, rational knowledge. Previous studies in Western countries reveal that students' high level of achievement in school is closely related to the level of collaboration among teachers in practice, such as evaluation on curriculum and selection of suitable instructional strategy for students. PLC is proof for improving the professional development of teachers and the academic excellence of students. PLC can only be well established as a professional culture when teachers start to play an active role in investing themselves with new knowledge through inquiry and sharing. Teachers' shift in teaching strategy after participating in PLC can only be sustained if PLC is to be conducted in a continuous manner and not on an on-off basis. Teachers can be practice what they learn not only for students but also for themselves to ensure meaningful impact for the practitioner. Carpenter's 2015 findings show that support from the school leaders is also one of the determining factors in the success of PLC as well as support at the district level. PLC is not just confined to teachers, and the involvement of students should be addressed by engaging students in the process of teaching and learning to enable relation to be made by the teachers. In addition to this, collaboration across sites, including the outside community in PLC, is a plus point as the community is a broader curriculum for the teaching and learning context. Beyond the Western setting in China, PLC is slowly gaining recognition from the community and stakeholders, despite PLC being at an infancy level upon implementation at the national, provincial, county, district and school level. Previous Asian studies have highlighted issues arising from the implementation of PLC. Zhang et al. 2017 highlight barriers in implementing PLC as perceived by both teachers and administration in Shanghai school context. Teachers perceive insufficient timing, unsupportive leader from administrator, unfavorable accountability system, and lack of collaboration of teachers in culture as the barriers to implementing PLC. In Islam, a follower has to embrace high moral value and practice them at all times. This connection between values and practice lie at the very heart of the Islamic way of life. Essentially, Islamic education and curriculum are based on values and character development. To resolve the barriers stated above and provide betterment of PLC, school administrators should provide support for teachers and exhibit a distributive leadership practice with teachers. On the contrary, Zhang and Peng 2016 conceptualized PLC practice in terms of collaborative learning, professional competency, facilitative leadership, structural support, and cultural barriers based on the finding of an empirical study conducted in Shanghai Chinese School. Based on when 2016 found that the actual practice of PLC in two high-achievement senior high schools in Northeast China were characterized by collective inquiry, collaboration, and shared practice. When 2016 further emphasized that institutionalized collaborative teams were perceived to be effective in facilitating collaboration as well as spontaneous conservation among teachers. Apart from that, researchers in Taiwan claim that the practice of PLC is positively associated with elements such as shared vision, supportive and shared leadership, and collegial trust in order for the teachers to collaborate effectively and reflect upon each other while practicing PLC. Okay, the next is Islamic perspective based on Indian and Islamic. In Islam, human development refers to the development of spiritual and human virtues. Indeed, Islam positions the human condition between two extremes, perfection, which strive toward getting closer to God, and lowliness, which is reflected by clay, the origin of mankind. Training and development in Islam take place everywhere, deals with every activity and exposes various approaches. Teaching philosophy statements are solely individualistic as they reflect personal value and artistic preference. How they are structured also depends on the learning environment and needs of students. Any motivated instructor who wants to write teaching philosophy statements must consider carefully what he or she actually wants to do and how to accomplish it. Each teacher must have clearly defined ideas about his or her role in the classroom in order to function effectively. Indonesia has a strong tradition in TPD since the 1970s. The lesson study is a form of PD in which teachers open their lesson to others for observation and reflection. It has been gaining attention in Indonesia since early 2000 series. The PD models is usually mostly top-down, removed from teachers' practice and classroom contact cascade system. But there are lack of effectiveness. One of seminars and in-service short courses in cascade fashion are not effective modes in Indonesia. Teacher upgrading through teacher certification that use 2006 until now. Teacher certification does not improve student achievement and has more likely become a symbol of credential rather than the real competence of teachers. Collaborative approach between school teachers and university faculties members has jointly developed lesson plans, implement this plan in the classroom and reflect on the lesson afterward. The evaluation and dissemination a change in the academic base of a lesson by closely working with university faculty members. A change in the structure of the lesson by the introduction of experiment or manual activities and discussion. A change in the direction of students during the lesson. But they also have challenge in two aspects, which is a narrow interest in probing the learning process of the students in comparison with focusing on teaching methodologies more generally. The necessity to involve the entire school in lesson study. A PD theories of action also include two elements, which is a main idea that teachers should learn and a strategy for helping teachers enact that idea within their own ongoing system of practice. Okay, for the conclusion that I have talked just now, based on the aspect that have been discussed, as a future teacher and as Muslim, we must know that learning process that never been enough and we must always put effort to find new knowledge that show us a knowledgeable teacher and also a good servant that need us more focused towards dunya wal akhirah. That's all from me. Continue with the next presenter.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Aina Nadia binti Abdul Muhammad Saleh. So, my turn is to explain to you about the Western and non-Western perspective on professional development. Without wasting our time, let's get started. Friends, as you can see on the screen now, this is the main resources that I refer in order to make this presentation. The article is about the teacher professional development international perspective and approaches teacher professional development in Singapore, Finland, Hong Kong as well as Australia. So by understanding how the PD is structured in this nation may guide others in designing more favorable learning opportunities for their teacher. So the 5 following articles describe the PD model of the Australia, Hong Kong, Finland and Singapore among the highest achiever in education presently. So because their teachers are continuous learning for high priority in this nation, and there are strong infrastructure for high quality PD teacher being built to meet the needs and interests of their teacher. Okay, my friends, we will start first for the Western countries' perspective on professional development, which are Finland and also Australia. Okay, my friends, we start first with the Finland. Okay, before we go further, we take a look the overview in brief about the Finland country. Okay, Finland is a northern European country bordering Sweden and Russia with a population of 5.4 million people. Okay, for your information, Finland was ranked first globally for both innovation and also for their education and training system in a recent report on the competitiveness from the World Economic Forum. So, other than that, Finland is a bilingual country and municipalities, or in Malay, Majlis Bandaran, must provide educational and cultural service in both Finnish and also Swedish. Okay, now we go more deeply about the Finnish education system. The governance of education in Finland. There are two tiers of the national education administration in Finland, which are the Ministry of Education and Culture is responsible for education policy, the preparation of legislation, and making decisions around the state funding of education. And the second one is the Finnish National Board of Education is the national development agency working under the ministry and holding responsibility for the national core curriculum, qualification, and teacher development. Okay, for your information, in this Finland, okay, there are the three stages for their teacher professional development. Start from the pre-service time. The second one is first year of newly qualified teachers induction phase, and the third stage is spans a career long development throughout their teaching careers. Okay, for the pre-service education, okay, they are preparing for an accountable and autonomous role. According to Helinen and Holopa 2013, pointed out that local education authorities and schools are granted wide autonomy in organizing education and implementing the core curriculum. What does it mean by the autonomy? Here is teacher in Finland are freedom regarding how they teach and what the kinds of assessment method they use. They can also select the textbook and other learning material and can even choose whether to use textbook at all. Local teacher, they are together with the principal responsible for the local school-based curriculum. Okay, next, according to the HNIMI 2015, it mentioned that professional development needs high-quality pre-service education in which critical reflection and research orientation is important. Why this very important? Because this one will be used on the next stages. Okay, they found that through the research study, teachers learn alternative way of working, reflecting, dialoguing, and gaining feedback for their work. Okay, in first year of newly qualified teachers induction phase, okay, finish in service training was based on training days and short courses. Most of the country are apply the same thing, training days and short courses. Same goes with our country. Research-based orientation in pre-service teacher education, and this should be used as a resource. Yes, as I mentioned before this, okay, in the pre-service they produce the research orientation. That one will be used in this phase. Okay, from the research-based orientation, teachers capable to design the school-based project and their own development which relate with the school development. Okay, how about in the stage span a career-long development throughout their teaching careers? Okay, just now I mentioned to you the Ministry Education in Finland actually collaborate with the culture. Okay, the school community crossing boundaries toward multi-professional cooperation. Yes, they have a collaboration with the professional network. For instance, special needs education requires teachers' cooperation and collaboration with social workers, school psychologists, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. So their needs should be taken seriously by implementing this multi-professional cooperation. The school had a communicative and cooperative working culture. Okay, this project is connected individual teacher development and also the school development. As a result, this project uh, can reveal it was important that teachers see their own development as a part of school development, and in-service training could be a resource for achieving joint aim in the school. Okay, indirectly, teacher actually can upgrade their career from this project. Done with the Finland, now we in the Australia. Okay, PD in Australia, what does it look like? So PD in Australia is initiated and provided by employers, where it is often provided by the professional associations, publisher, and private consultant with the university entering more seriously into this arena. Okay, PT in Australia is offered via webinars or online workshop and short courses. Okay, other than that, PT for teachers in Australia takes many paths which include, okay, they can choose whether they want to half day and day workshop, modules of 12 to 15 hours of PD. Okay, in the same some cases creditable to a formal university qualification, undertaking full award courses such as a master and doctoral degree. Okay, they can also choose by mentoring and coaching, action research project, and many other variation of these themes. Okay, in the Australia also, okay, they have the institute AITSL, Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership. What they do is by overarching regulatory and accrediting body for teacher education program in Australia. What are the approaches in the Australia? Okay, PD program usually offered through government department and their agency are designed to increase conformity, compliance, and also accountability. PD in Australia also offered through a university and other private and independent providers that in some cases uh, do challenge teachers to try new teaching approaches and that provide a supportive and scaffolded collegial context in which to do so. Okay. Likewise, the approach utilized by Black 1999, he described teacher use drawing, metaphor, storytelling, and narrative, and reflective journal. Actually, those challenges teachers to rethink their identity and the role as a teacher. Okay, we done with the Western perspective on the PD. So now we focus on the non-Western country perspective on professional development PD with these two countries, which are Singapore and Hong Kong. Okay, what the perspective on PD in Singapore? Okay, for the all teachers are entitled to 100 hours of PD activity per year. For your information, teachers in Singapore, whether primary or secondary teacher, they are compulsory to attend 100 hours of PD activities per year. Then, Academy of Singapore teacher was the pedagogical leadership focused on the teacher collaboration within the school and professional networks. The one is same goes with the Finland. Okay, PD activity teacher can engage in ranging. They are starting from formal or structured course to informal reform-based initiative, for example, by action research, lesson study. Okay, in addition, current policy initiatives such as Teacher Growth Model 2012 argue in favor of of PD that is coherent with the and responsive the teacher's need and interest. Okay. Actually, teacher growth model encourage teachers to further their learning through a variety of formats and platforms, including face-to-face and online courses, workshop, and postgraduate program, for example, master and PhD, professional conferences, convention, excellent research, mentoring, and coaching. Okay. Uh, Next is research has shown that the success of the Singapore's education system is due to multiple factors at three independent levels. What are they? Is macro. Macro here is social, cultural, economic, political factor. For organizational, what are the inside the organizational quality of school itself, teacher, curriculum, and others. And the last one, the factor is family level factors. Okay, family level factors, they are participate the parenting and socialization. This one is according to DMOC and Tan 2013, Heron and DMOC 2011, CY Tan and DMOC 2014. This one is cited in Bautista, Wong and Kopinethan 2015. Okay, we done with the Singapore perspective. Now we in Hong Kong perspective on PD. Okay, Committee on Professional Development of Principal and Teacher (COTFP) is responsible to promote the professional development of teachers and principals across the continuum of teaching profession. Okay, this body are responsible to promote for the teacher and principal in teaching profession. Okay, next is teacher PD practices related to social networking. This one, social networking, also in the Finland, in Singapore, right? They are apply the social networking. The teacher induction scheme, collaborative lesson planning, and mentorship program all have social network elements. Okay. After that, the local teacher have also responded favorably to this practice, with over 70% stating that mentorship is helpful for their development. This one is according to Lopez, Real, and Kwan 2005, as cited in the LAM 2015. We can see that the mentorship is very important in the Hong Kong perspective in order to make the teacher upgrade their skill and knowledge, okay, in their career of teacher. Okay, and the last one is the survey of the ACTEQ Arctic 2006. This one is cited also in the LAM 2015, suggested that 88% of the teachers in Hong Kong had engaged in peer lesson observation, and 84% had participated in the collegial collaboration like joint lesson preparation in practices oriented toward fostering relationship among teachers. Okay, now we can see most of the country are very take serious in the collaboration with the teacher, collaboration with the others body to make their school or their self to improve, to upgrade career, their skill and also their knowledge as a teacher.
Okay, this is the conclusion for our presentation. In conclusion, as an effective teacher, we must always improve our knowledge, especially in our field, as well as our teaching skill. As a teacher, we need to go out from our comfort zone in order to be successful teacher. Okay, we need to know
Muslim perspective also, we need to find the knowledge until we in yang lahat, right? So so as a teacher, as a good teacher, we don't wait the training or the uh, authority to give you input, but you need to push yourself to find the alternative to improve your knowledge, your skill, and others. Okay, and then please remember that we should see the other countries which are good in education, because the education is a premise of progress in every society, in every family. As the in Malaysia, we need to see the top country like Finland, how they give the autonomy to their teacher, freedom to use any instruction, any tools to deliver the content to the students. Okay, they uh, give the equities, all students have a same opportunity to learn. Don't there's no competing between the students. And also we need to more collaborate with the others network. For example, if we have a special need in education in school, so we need to cooperate with the other social network, social other bodies. Okay, we don't limit the education itself, but we need to open minded to others. That's all. Thank you.